And welcome back to EXP Grind. You're here with Lael420, and we are playing Elden Ring. We are going to be giving a little bit of tips for YouTube's Zorn the Great. For those of you who haven't already, go and check out Zorn the Great's channel. He tends to do Subnautica videos, Roblox videos, and Minecraft videos. Recently, however, Zorn has been getting to a game named Astromedica, which is essentially Space Nautica. So go check that out. That along with another game that he's been playing, Schedule 1, for those of you who haven't actually heard of that game yet already. Yeah, go check that out. Hey, Zorn, you are in fact here. Awesome. I am happy you are here, buddy. We are going to go ahead with my Reaper here, since this character is the one with the highest amount of, well, any stats, to be honest, when it comes to magic and incantations, and has the most collected out of all my incantations. So to explain incantations, you need to, first off, you need to make sure you definitely have enough of faith to be able to use any of them. But what you're going to do to be able to actually equip them, especially for the healing incantation that I was trying to get you to do for last time, you want to go down to memorize spell when you're sitting at a grace. And over here, you'll have your memory slots, which is where you get those memory stones. Remember I think you'd bought one from the Twin Maiden Husks and gotten one from the top of Linez Rise when you finally got to the top of it. Memory stones, when you'll find more of them in a lot more of those rises all over the map. I'll even show you one here in a minute to show you that's where pretty much where you can get them. Once you have enough of the slots, the maximum that you can have in total should be, if I'm remembering correctly, 10 is the maximum. But if you can see, I'm trying to actually highlight it, but I can't. Right there in the middle, it says memory slots. I have 12. The reason why being is because I currently happen to be wearing a talisman called the Moon and Noxella. It increases the memory slots by 2. So there is, in fact, a talisman that increases it just a little bit more. You could always use the talisman instead of having to look for more of the actual memory slots, but it's better to just look for the memory stones to increase them altogether. But once you're here, you'd click on any one of these slots and equip one of your spells or incantations into the slot. Once you have gotten one for that set, you'd have to click onto the next one and then set it for that one, and then the same thing for the next, and so on and so forth. For me, I happen to have the max heal right now. It's Erdtree Heal. For you, I'd want to have you use the highest one that you can, but what you really need to do is start increasing your faith attribute in your stats. That's what all incantations are all scaled off of, is faith. All sorceries, which are the magic essentially, are all scaled off of intelligence. So if you want to be able to use any magic specifically, you're going to want to increase intelligence. If you want to use more faith or incantations, essentially, you want to go with, faith. My character happens to have both, and I happen to have one in particular spell on me. You have to use either a seal. I happen to have all of these seals. To explain, you have the finger seal. If you happen to notice, it says attribute scaling down at the bottom besides the attributes that are required. The scaling is really what's important in a way. As you'll notice on the attack power scaling, it has this new stat called incant scaling. Certain seals will allow those the incant scaling to increase. Frenzied Flame Seal being the highest one. You'd get this at the very end of Hayeda's storyline, the blind girl that you've been following around. I can possibly show you the points as to where you'll find them. I kind of went through it in that one video that disappeared out of nowhere. So I could end up showing it to you here if you'd want me to. But there are, in fact, others that are better for other stuff. This one is best for boosting Dragon Communion incantations. This is for Frenzied Flame incantations, Bestial incantations, Giant's Flame. Certain ones, this one, and this one, these three in particular, are all from the DLC, so don't worry about those. This boosts Dragon Cult incantations, Fundamentalist incantations, which is pretty much every basic spell based around the Golden Order, so any of the healings and golden spells, should I say. So along the lines of like, and that's another thing. I happen to have a good number of spells that are straight from the DLC, or incantations, should I say, but I'll show you at least this one, just to show you that you can go and take the power of the dragons and just steal it for yourself. A dragon incantation. I also realized that my controls are backwards, so give me a second. Basically, I'm from school. All right, definitely. Hell yeah, Zorn. I'll catch you in a few. I'm gonna continue with this and give more tips and everything until you get back. Then just catch the rest of this from here forward and everything to pick up on more tips. Let's see. Erdtree heal that I happen to have and everything is the maximum heal that you can use. One thing I needed to explain, the reason why I'm using a staff is that this is what DLC staff. It happens to have an ability that allows you to use both incantations and sorceries. So it's a specialty weapon or an item that kind of stems over all of the other quote-unquote Souls games, should I say. All of the previous games that the creator of Elden Ring had weapon or an item that was essentially kind of like this, a catalyst for both sorceries and in the incantations from those games. They're not connected by story, but if you do ever feel the need to check out more from the creators of this, go and check out Dark Souls, Dark Souls 2, Dark Souls 3, and a game called Bloodborne, along with another game called Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. So those are games that are from the creators of Elden Ring. They were the previous games that came out to Elden Ring, and their controls are a little bit more finicky and aged, but at the same time, it's not ultimately difficult to get used to them and everything like that. They're a little bit slower and clunkier in comparison to Elden Ring, so going back to them is a little difficult for some. But they are some still pretty good games. But anyway, this is an item basically as a crossover thing to call back to those games in a way, 'cause not the weapon in and of itself or its design, but its ability, being a catalyst for both sorceries and incantations. So yeah, just to show you that for the dragons, because you were near Eekzeeks, that was in Caelid, which I can go ahead and use his dragon breath and actually show you what you can get from beating that dragon. I'll go ahead and replace Placidia Sex's rune with it for the time being. Eekzeeks Decay. I forget that gives me that dragon head takes up 3 spell slots. Okay, yeah, that's another thing. Certain incantations, like that lightning dragon head that I was just showing you, they happen to increase the number of spell slots for certain spells that are really legendary or really super strong and everything. Good for good reason. You don't really want to have be able to allow the players to have 100, well, not 100, obviously, but a shit ton of just epic incantations or spells to really work with. So with Eekzeeks Decay, you spew out the dragon breath that he has. Most and all dragon heads usually tend to be this way. You can get one from basically every dragon that you come across. You've come across the fire dragon that's over here in the lake right next to First Step. That's Agil from Agil Lake, and you'll get Agil's flame from defeating him. You've come across Big Mama Grail right outside of Fort Feroth, sitting around over here. If you defeat Grail, you'll get this one that I'll show you next right now. Eek's Decay that you see here that I was just using is the Rot Dragon that you were fighting right over here next to this Grace out here. Is right next to the Cathedral of Dragon Communion, by the way. So when you're as you were passing down over here, this is where you found the map right down over here for this area of Caelid. So back near where the map was on the road, near where the dragon was, if you go straight south, you'll come across the Cathedral of Dragon Communion, and on a much lower area, so be careful of don't fall off the cliff, basically. It's an area you'd want to go all the way around to get to, but there's a catacombs entrance that's down there. Cathedral of Dragon Communion is essentially where you could go to equip the dragon or buy the dragon incantations, to be more precise. You go there, you go up to an altar, you use the dragon hearts that you have collected by killing the dragons, and you are able to gain the abilities from said dragons. So go ahead and do that at your leisure. If you ever choose to want to use Dragon Breath against enemies, it does a shit ton of damage and stuns a lot of enemies and everything, even to bosses and such. The breath that I'm using right now of Eek's, the Rot Dragon here, is really, really good. If you're able to rot an enemy, bosses, anything, you'll literally just see their health just start to drop constantly, consistently. It's a really, really good incantation. Let's see. So that's that one. Smarag is the other dragon. You've already come across this dragon, but haven't fought him. You also didn't really take too much time to look at him. But way over here, a little bit above Temple Quarter, left of what's it called? Raya Lucaria, where you fought Renala. When you grab the key from back over here, there was a big blue dragon that was sitting right out over here. His name is Smarag. Smarag does glintstone magic breath. So if you want some magic fire, you can go and get that dragon's breath if you want to get it from him. There's a lot of dragons in the game. A lot of them end up giving a good amount of heads. So we got Agil's Flame. We've got Theodorix's Magma. And mind you, I will mention these ones in between as well. But these are the named dragons that you can defeat in-game as bosses, essentially, that you can get their breath from. These ones, on the other hand, will already be at the Dragon Communion that you can get. They're weaker versions. It literally just channels a quote-unquote worm to spew magma breath. It's just a basic breath. It's not the powered-up version. So you'd be weaker. Same thing with the Rotten Breath. You can get a basic Rotten Breath right now at the Dragon Communion if you walk up over to go get it. It takes a little bit of Arcane to actually have up a little bit in your requirements, but only 15 Faith to use. If you were to get Eek's and actually defeat the dragon, it is a much stronger Rot Breath, but it does take 15 Arcane and 23 Faith instead. So keep that in mind when wanting to do it, because you're going to end up having to go up some more levels in order to be able to obviously have the attributes required for these. I will show you a good amount of incantations in that from the DLC as well, since, to be honest, I don't have zero clue whether or not you're going to get the DLC and whether or not you're actually interested enough with the entirety of the game to bother with the DLC. I hope to see you go to the DLC. It would be awesome. But we'll see. So we do happen to have Theodorix's Magma. We happen to have Smarag's Glintstone Breath. We have Eek's Decay. Borealis's Mist. Ghost Flame Breath. This one comes from the DLC, but it is in fact technically it's not a named dragon. It is, in fact, technically should be considered a weaker variant in that case. But when you get this, you only get this from specifically a Ghost Flame Dragon from the DLC. And there's 4 or 5 Ghost Flame Dragons in the DLC, and they're all of equal existence and strength, essentially. None of them are named by any account. This one as well is also another dragon incantation from the DLC. I've yet to get the secondary one because I've yet to go through a second playthrough with this character through the DLC. So don't mind me for right now with that one. So sorry. I'm here to equip Grail's Roar to show you. So that's Mama Grail's incantation. You can get Dragon Maw and Dragon Claw just sitting at the Dragon Communion now. It's one of the weaker variant abilities that you can go and get. There's a few other weaker variant abilities, like the weaker Frost Breath and that, and some such that I haven't bothered with. The weaker Fire, I'd never bothered to grab with this character, so they're still over there for this one. But the one I showed you at the beginning, Placidius X's Ruin, one of my favorites. It's literally of Dragon Lord Placidius X. So that's just what it is. Give me one moment, getting a call in IRL, so I'll be right with you, dear viewer. All right. Sorry about that, Zorn and dear viewers. I have returned. A little bit of life happening. Anyway, so yeah, Grail's Roar. Let's go ahead and show you Grail's Roar. Grail's Roar is a really good one. Not only will it cause what's going to happen. Actually, you know what's best? Give me a second. I'm gonna use Grail's Roar, but I'm gonna use it near some enemies so you can see some of their effects and stuff like that, and what damages they can do. That's pretty much what the rest of this stream will be, is just just me showing like off some of these incantations and everything, other than also showing you areas where you need to actually eventually go, because there's so much here. There's caves. There's another Church of Dragon Communion out here. This is where you'd get the actual dragon seal if you wanted to use dragon abilities and everything specifically. You need to go through the coastal cave to even reach it. So there's other caves, other things to go through. I haven't activated the graces in this playthrough for them, but at least through playthroughs or multiple playthroughs you do get the markers that are left over. So there's in fact a catacombs over here at Stormfoot Catacombs. When you go from Church of Ella and just literally go through the back way, you can find a catacombs back here. Right where we're at, we were to go up to the side, we can find a cave that brings us into the Groveside Cave. There's a boss up over here in this Everjail that's right up on Stormville Everjail. So if you were to go up to the gate front where you first got your very first map and go past the giant that's up here, instead of continuing up the way towards Stormville over here, if you were to just take a left and go around on the plains, you'd eventually find an Everjail up at the top and go fight a boss up there. Just the same way that you fought the Forlorn Hound Everjail with Blythe in the last episode, I believe. So if you wanted to go and do another boss fight there, you can go do a boss fight here. There should be a boss fight here. There should be a boss fight here. Basically, every catacomb, every cave, every dungeon, every that you come across should have a optional boss or a boss of some kind that you should be able to go and interact with and go and fight and have fun and everything like that. If you continue up this way past, don't forget, if you want to go back to War Master's Shack and speak to Burnhall, he'll sell you more Ashes of War that you can then equip into your new awesome greatsword and use your greatsword and have some fun with some different Ashes of War. Changes out your L2 attacks and everything like that with it, so definitely think about that. So we have Death Touch Catacombs way out over here. We have High Road Cave way out up over here through the water. We have a Murkwater Catacombs way down over here through the water as well. And Murkwater Coast, Grace Point, I believe, is actually up on the top. But in the actual pathway of the waters, we have Murkwater Cave over here with Patches, an NPC, if you ever want to go and talk with Patches and everything. I will admit, this is something that I will have to admit to you, Zorn. I do apologize. The item does exist. as an answer to what you had asked in that one video a while back and everything about the item and everything, it does exist. I just didn't tell you about it. Reason being, and yes, it would have made the fight hard or easier. It really would have. But let's just say this. I, as the one putting you through this game, along with me and a lot of my other friends that have been following your exploits through Elden Ring, we may or may not have lost just a slight little touch of respect for you if you would have used the shackle. But it does exist. Margit Shackle does exist. Briefly binds Margit, once imprisoned, to Earth. It will, in fact, when used, it only gets used once per battle. So once you die, you'd have been able to use it again, but you would have been able to knock him basically to the ground for about 5 seconds until he could get back up on his own. Would give you a little bit of a burst of a moment to be able to defeat him and kick his butt, sure. But that would have been too easy, Zorn. And aren't you proud that you went through all that and kicked his butt without it? That's because me and my friends are proud of you for being able to do it. Because we knew you could do it. Because we knew we could do it. Because we did do it. Because it is possible. We knew you were capable of being able to figure it out eventually. So be happy. You did it without Margit Shackle. Now. If they'll even let me do this. See, now that you notice this, it does some damage to them, but normally doesn't knock back more than anything else. But if you notice on that one guy back over there, he has that little red aura that's dropping from him. It means he's doing less damage, and either doing less damage or doing a defense debuff, basically, meaning he'll take more damage himself. And just for fun, DLC incantation. Holy nuke. Okay, so yeah, incantation of the DLC does that. Wrath from Afar does the same thing, or not does the same thing. Is also from the same thing from the DLC. Sorry, Wrath from Afar is a great incantation. Don't get me wrong. Sends out a little bubble that knocks people back. There is, however, base game versions of these. This Wrath from Afar and another one that I happen to have, which is Heal from Afar, are literally just distance versions of some incantations that are already in-game, in base game. So let's go on over here, go to Memorize Spell, and I can re-equip my Placidius X's Rune real quick. And show you that from Heal from Afar, we happen to have our regular heals. See right here, Wrath from Afar, Wrath of Gold. Wrath of Gold is our normal one, along with another spell called Rejection. Rejection is the most basic version of it, simplified. Wrath of Gold has more of a holy damage with it and is increased. Wrath from Afar is literally Wrath from Gold, or Wrath of Gold, but launching it as a distance. It is absolutely amazing. That's the reason why I'm using the ones from the DLC. Anyway, Erdtree heal along with... Let's go up to all the other heals. You currently only have access to these two for the moment. Until we get Corrin up to Altus Plateau later on, which will be a little bit, you'll eventually get Great Heal. And eventually, you'll get Lord's Heal, which is the highest version you'll get until basically end game. In which case, at end game, you'd be getting the Erdtree Heal, which is the max version of the spell to do so. Other than Heal from Afar, which is a distance one. It's literally, essentially, Lord's Heal launched at a distance. So yeah. Let's see what else I could actually just try to remember to show you right now, other than literally just choosing random incantations at random to show you. Should I show you the beer? I'm going to show you the bear. This is a DLC spell, but there's a bear roar. Yeah, bear. Let's go with this one. Summons up some butterflies. And then they all die and rot. Snap! It's not horrible. It's awesome. It's interesting. It's curious. What did I have here? I have heal from afar. Oh, right. I had Mikola's light in this spot, just to remind myself what I had in the place, so I don't leave it behind and forget to put it back to exactly what it was. Certain incantations, again, from the DLC and everything like that, so ignore certain... I would say ignore certain ones, but yeah, I'll just let you know whether the ones I'm showing you actually are or aren't. This one definitely is in the base game, so if you want to go and get yourself some death lightning, literal just lightning of death, go get it. You're going to have to go get up to level 47 in Faith, but like, death lightning. Actually, let's show you some death lightning. I like death lightning. Leaves behind a fog of death. It does some lightning damage. Like it is some cool damage. It is a cool spell from when it was in base game. You have to go fight a dragon for that one. So that's technically another dragon incantation. It's just a basic incantation and not a dragon breath. Which I will admit, Frozen Lightning Spear is also one. Lanasax's Glaive, another dragon, another dragon, another dragon. As you can see, there's some certain attacks and everything that are also draconic that aren't necessarily dragon breaths. There's a good number of incantations throughout the game. You have to really find all of these and spells all over, everywhere, or buy them. You either buy them by finding... I believe you found one already. You found a book or a scroll that you were over here. You can take those over this way to Church of Vows, to Muriel, the Pastor of Vows. Right outside of Renala's room, down the hallway, just after the giant ball that falls, there should be a teleporter that was sitting right over here. If you activate that, I'm fairly certain it should send you somewhere that's near here, I believe, if not directly into the Church of Vows. It's supposed to send you somewhere on this side of the map, over here. So if you were to go and use that from, at least from her grace, and pass the ball right there, and just go through the teleporter, it should take you over here to a guy who will be able to teach you the incantations and that better. So yeah, Church of Vows. As I was mentioning earlier, other places for you to really go and explore. There's ruins, there's places and everything like that. There's like a cellar and another person to talk to right across the bridge, right over here of Agil Lake, or across the lake if you want to go from first step and everything. You already have this grace, so if you want to just backtrack and go and check out ruins, go and do that. There's a little shack out over here, the artist shack. There should be somebody out over here, somewhere around here. So do yourself a favor and come back up over here near this bridge. You already have this grace. You went to go get the turtle talisman from Summon Water Village and got this grace. So if you want to go, back to this grace and then walk back up this way towards the west, towards this bridge, you'll find a pumpkin head dude over here on the bridge. But there should be a person to speak to out over here somewhere. You'll hear him calling out for assistance or for help. So it should be in this area, if I'm not mistaken. If by chance that I am mistaken and it's not on this exact side, go to this side of the bridge. All I know is that he's near this bridge on one of these, and it's been like 4 or 5 playthroughs since I did the very beginning of that particular storyline and character arc. So you go there. He usually appears in a later area regardless of me doing this step, so it's just an early step part and everything that you can do. You can ignore it if you really want to, but if you want to do it for the story and for to actually know the guy and everything like that, go here first. At least before you start going all the way to this place and going up towards this area. That is all right there is all major progress for Kaled in the area and everything. So is pretty much your next major boss. But other than major boss, I want you to go around fighting all the optional bosses. I want you to return down over here from the Church of Pilgrimage down here in the south. Go down. There's a catacombs right next to the path that leads you to this tree. There's a boss at the Minor Erd tree. There's a boss down in the catacombs. There's a tunnel that's down over here. You'd have to go through the forest and everything like that this way under that one bridge that spanned way over here. You can go down to the more tunnel and go through the tunnel. There's more stuff and more things to go and explore. So go to the areas, go explore them. The Witchbane Ruins was another place that I think you missed. There's literally a cellar area to go and check out there. But before you even bother with that spot, I just said I'd want you to go to this ruins first. Go to Waypoint Ruins and go speak to the NPC that's there selling. Go speak there before you head over to this area. Just guaranteed you want to do that in that order. But there's a hero's grave here in near First Step that you can also go do a stranded graveyard little area as well. Basically, to explain, stranded graveyard. That should be the grace back inside, right? Give me a second. I want to see if this is the correct grace that I'm thinking of. Because if not, then I'll go back to First Step and backtrack. Okay, yeah, it is. Okay, so when we first start the game, you first start out in this room back here. This is the literal beginning of the game. You can leave and walk out over here, and walk out, and this is where you start off. Well, you didn't get to do this because you didn't happen to have the key or pick a stone sword key as your beginning item, because I had you grab the golden seed specifically. But now that you've played the game a little bit more and you could gotten a few of the stone sword keys, simply go back to First Step and walk back through the mausoleum entrance and go down the elevator that's there. It'll bring you back right over here. If not, just activate that grace point for the stranded graveyard here. Walk up to the statues over here, put the stone sword key into its head, and you will open up the fog wall that was here, leading you down into this poison swamp that's below you. And yes, this is literally poison. You drop down, it immediately starts building up poison on buildup. You'd either need some boluses in order to be able to get rid of poison buildup, or simply run out of the area where it gets you fast enough. And you'll be in a hero's grave. You'll come across the hero's graves all over the map. There's plenty of them. In most of every single one of them, there's plenty of stuff to get, bosses and treasures and stuff. But most importantly, they happen to have these guys. It's they're chariots. They're chariots, and the problem about chariots is that they're very, very difficult to try to defeat normally. Apparently, people say that there's a trick you can do using the Margit Shackle, the exact same item that you didn't get before, that supposedly you can use to defeat these things. It's more of a glitch where if you activate it in just the right places or right spots, you basically summon up a second one of these out of nowhere using it, and it'll go and crash into the other one, and then thus breaking it. So, the heroes' graves go into much lower areas, as you can see. It just keeps going. At least this one in particular will keep going further down. So, give me just a second, people. I'm getting another phone call. All right. So that's that's pretty much what I'll show you for this area, at least for now. If you want to go and check this place out, go ahead. Just be very careful as to not to die to that thing. A lot of these areas are. It's not that they're so difficult. It's more of you got to get very good at the dodges, the rolls, the areas, and everything that you actually head to, so you don't die. So be very careful going down here. Poison, basic green poison like this is really not as bad as Scarlet Rot. Scarlet Rot's essentially the souped-up version of poison, as you've seen. Hence the reason why to get Eekzeek's Decay, because it'll be a very good help to use against enemies if you really want to go the route of using incantations. However, you seem to be a strength build, so for you to suddenly start going strength faith, it will be interesting to see if you decide to do that. So having a little faith to be able to do a couple of minor incantations like the minor heals, so that way you could do something in terms of healing without having to use flasks, will be a great asset to you fighting and everything going about the game. So yeah. So I've now shown you essentially where I want you to go next is all those areas and everything to go looking around all these caves. Hence the reason why I sent you the video of Carbot animations showing all the little areas in Limgrave, all specifically that you can go to. I want you to actually complete all of these things. I want you to go down to Sulphur River as well. Actually, you know what? Let's make this the rest of what I'm going to show you. The entrance to Sulphur River Well, and the next place I want you to eventually go to as well to explore. Because you're going to want to go from this Grace, from the Mistwood outskirts, and we're going to go due east. So we're going to go turn to the east, and we're just going to head east. We're specifically trying to head to the foot of this this golden tree that's right here to us. So about southeast. We're going to pass by all these bears as best as we can without dying. And just simply try to get to the base of this tree. This is where you found the map. And to the left of the tree, you'll find this little pillar thing. We're going to go ahead and jump right on through. The bear will do its own thing out there. I mentioned this in one video a long while back. I'm not sure if you ever noticed or remembered it. But tried to avoid the bears. I just ran through here for the sake of running through because I know my skill in the game. But Zorn, when you do get the chance, go up to that tree and then make it to this doorway. And pull... We're still waiting for that thing to come up here, aren't we? God damn. Yeah, we really were waiting for a minute. Give it a second. Give it a second. The elevator's on its way. I'm going to show you how to get just for the getting down part. Like, this is where you want to get to. So for River Well, this is the minor Erd tree and everything like that from the Mistwood. You're going to want to go down here. Once you get through and get down to the very bottom and go through an area, on the other side of the Sulphur River, on the very other opposite end, you'll find a spot that'll lead you up to this side of the Deep Sulphur Well. So this one's Deep Sulphur Well, and this one's the Sulphur River Well. So you're going to go through on one side, which is the first entrance. This is here. The only way to get to the other side will be way over here. Now, the one thing about this is that you'll notice this big old dark line that just kind of runs through all the way back down out into that one giant swamp. There's a giant crevice that runs through here. The only way to really get into this crevice or go around and explore is through and exiting out of this well exit and getting yourself the grace here. So get onto this and go on down the elevator when you can. Alright, people. So, alright, so, I'll try not to show too much of the actual area that you're going to be going to, Zorn. Just, ride the elevator all the way down to the very, very bottom, and, get the grace that'll be literally right out over here. Once you've gotten this, you'll notice that once you open up your map, you'll be showing a different map entirely. This is because there's underground areas, and we are now currently in the Sulphur River well depths of the areas. This grace point here right next to me is the Sulphur River well depths. What you're going to do is get all the way to the opposite side to this point. There's going to be, this is where it'll raise you right back up to the top. Sulphur River well. That's the beauty about this game, is that at least they're accurate to the start, to the end point. So when you get down here, you won't have a map to be able to actually work with until you find the map down here. Again, once you get down here, at least it should look... actually, wait a minute. How do we get the map when we're down here? I'm trying to remember if we get the map off of a body or if we get it off of an actual, like, the normal pillar thing that we get the map off of usually. Because I don't remember if it was different down here. It's been a while since I've been down in Sulphur River. But you're going to come down over here and start exploring. Most areas you can't really, like, leave for certain areas. Like, we can't really go back out that way, otherwise we'll fall down and die. So we go up that direction and so on and so forth. So, go and explore the Sulphur River well. And this is one of the new other areas that I want you to go and explore for tonight's video, Zorn. So, when you get the chance, do this. Yeah. Oh, that's the... There we go. I'm going to show off a couple more of the incantations that I happen to have. Multi-layered Ring of Light happens to do a good, nice amount of stun and everything. Happens to be a DLC incantation. This one is a base game incantation. The Black Blade launches out a nice, big, giant Black Blade ability. Drains enemy health and everything. It happens to be the same ability of this Black Knife that happens to be sitting in my hand right now. Using the Black Knife, shoots out a minier version of that same incantation that you see here. This is just a bigger, redder version of it all. So you can choose to find the Black Knife out in the world and everything. At some point, will eventually guide you toward it, hoping that you'll be able to actually fight the boss that actually drops it that's out over here. So, yeah. We'll eventually get you there, Zorn. But for now, go finish off Limgrave, go finish off these areas and everything like that, and we shall see how much farther you get, Young Tarnished. I can't wait to see your further exploits in the lands between. So that should be pretty much it for now, until you get further on. So I'll be on later on to be able to actually go through and watch some stuff with you and everything like that, and with the what's it called? It's the videos that I sent and everything like that for you to do for the reaction stream, and we'll be getting to Elden Ring. So I'll catch you on later, Zorn. Anybody else who's checked out our Elden Ring tips for today, thank you all for joining us. If you haven't already, please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel, along with going and checking out Zorn the Great out on YouTube. Zorn has been doing Elden Ring. He's going to be doing an Elden Ring stream hopefully tonight. And other times he's been doing Astromedica and Schedule 1 recently. Also does a little bit of playing through on, what was it? I said it earlier at the beginning of the stream. What was it? Roblox. So go and check out his stuff and everything like that. Yeah, we'll see you all in the next one. Y'all have stay safe out there. Y'all have a good one. Bye-bye.